member of both Houses of Parliament and had a distinguished career in service to the community. Mr Hodgman was 87 and is survived by his wife Patricia.
Bill Hodgman died on the 3rd of May. He was almost 88 years old, and throughout that time his life was definitely a full one. He was educated at Hutchins and in the mid-1930s studied law. In 1938 he married his wife Patricia. He served in the Navy for 6 years during World War II, and in 1957 was made a Queen's Counsel. His skills as a jury advocate were often described as the best in the state. He served time in both Houses of Parliament and was President of the Legislative Council from 1981 to 1983. Today, one of his sons, Michael, described William Clark Hodgman as a great man.
He was a great parliamentarian, a great Queen's Counsel, and a great statesman for Tasmania.
This morning's state memorial service was attended by Mr Hodgman's wife and family and a number of state dignitaries, including His Excellency the Governor of Tasmania and the Premier. The packed cathedral celebrating a marvellous life.
Shakespeare could well have been writing about my father when he wrote in Julius Caesar. And the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this is a man.
William Hodgman, former Legislative Council President and father of state politicians Michael and Peter Hodgman, has died aged 87. Mr Hodgman died yesterday after a long illness. He was a Denison MHA for 8 years from 1956 and represented Queenborough in the Upper House from 1971 to 1983. A Queen's Counsel, Mr Hodgman was also one of the state's leading criminal barristers. He's survived by his wife Pat, 4 sons, 10 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. A state memorial service is planned.
Political rivalries were put aside today as politicians and civic leaders, returned servicemen and members of the legal fraternity packed St David's Cathedral to pay tribute to Bill Hodgman.
I was very privileged to be in the presence of such a great man, to know him and to love him.
Bill Hodgman began his political career in the House of Assembly, representing Denison for 8 years. In 1971, he was elected to the Legislative Council seat of Queenborough, which he held till 1983, serving his last 2 years as President. Mr Hodgman also had a long and distinguished legal career. A Queen's Counsel, he was widely recognised as a tireless advocate for the less fortunate.
Over and over and over again, he gave his legal services free of charge, and that explains why he was never wealthy. But in terms of respect and affection from the Tasmanian community, which he served so well, he was indeed extremely rich.
I think that Bill and Pat helped to keep alive an ideal which is much needed in our society today: love, care.
Mr Hodgman is survived by his wife Patricia and 4 sons, Michael, Peter, John and Paddy.
Tasmania lost part of a political dynasty with the death of Mr Bill Hodgman yesterday, the former President of the Legislative Council. Mr Hodgman served in both Houses of Parliament and worked tirelessly for community and sporting organisations, charities and the RSL. Mr Hodgman's 2 sons, Michael and Peter, continue their family tradition in State Parliament today.
When Bill Hodgman bowed out of public life in 1983, he asked that Parliament and its representatives remain as the bastion of the people.
The main duty of any parliamentarian is to see that the rights and liberties of the man in the street are protected.
Today, it was his son Michael who honoured the memory of his father by saying he was a tireless advocate for the state.
He was a great parliamentarian, a great Queen's Counsel, and a great statesman.
Bill Hodgman served as a lawyer for more than 60 years. As a state politician, a local council warden, and for more than 60 sporting and community organisations. Bishop Newell also paid homage to the man dedicated to his family and friends.
I think that Bill and Pat helped to keep alive an ideal which is much needed in our society today: love.
A flower tribute and last post was paid to the ex-Navy man. He leaves his wife Pat and 4 children. Mike Harris, Win News.
Great Queen's Counsel and a great statesman for Tasmania.